Wow, it's moving. Amazing Israeli technology. Okay, hello everyone, thank you for coming. And thank you for coming as well. My name is Tal. I'm coming all the way from Israel. And actually I've landed this morning. And since then I had the opportunity of meeting several startups and I would say a beginning of ecosystems around here. We've been to, how do you say it again? Skolkovo, which you know, and there was also a cyber conference there. A few startups were presenting, and what I saw was actually a great opportunity. What I will show you in the next couple of minutes would maybe in a way amaze you or put you on the same page where Israel is currently at in regards to startups in general. It will give you a sense why Israel is called the Startup Nation. Startup Nation is a book actually that was written. I don't know if you read it. And as it says here, the subtitle is The Story of Israel's Economic Miracle. How come a country 67 years old is a world leader in absolute numbers when it comes to startups? How come a country with 8 million people is leading the world in innovation and creativity? But I will always also let you know that we owe one of the biggest boosts in our success to the Russian immigration coming to Israel. As you know, we call it Aliyah, that's the word in Hebrew, where people, Jews and Israelis that left the country are coming back to the country. And we had a huge wave of over 1 million and something Jews from Russia that decided to come back to Israel or do Aliyah. And that boosts Israel startup ecosystem in ways you cannot believe. But as I saw here, coming here, I saw also the opportunity, or even more the reason why when a Russian CTO, engineer on the one hand, okay, and an Israeli entrepreneur meet after the big explosion, only good things came out, and I really hope that we have made today kind of a step forward in holding hands together in a way where it will be dual, meaning we will be able to bring Israeli startups or founders or entrepreneurs here and do the same for Russian startups and especially engineers to work with startups. Engineers in Russia is something that you have like plentiful. We don't have enough. We are leaders, you'll see, world leaders in numbers, but we are still lacking due to the reason that if you would read, you'll see that Russia in the last 5 years came to a number of 1,000 and something startups. Israel develops, creates 1,000 startups a year. These are the numbers. And I want to share with you how this happened. This is me and my family in the middle. Actually, next week I'll be 46. This is my wife Karen and my 3 kids. We are photographed in a kibbutz. I don't know if you're familiar with the term kibbutz. It's a kind of a commune. This is how Israel started, okay? People came together, stepped in the same place, shared things, didn't share the people, share stuff, okay? It is still a way of settlement today in Israel. And what you see around are pictures of demo days of my acceleration programs. I run several programs in Israel at the same time, about 5 acceleration programs, which I will tell you about. And what you see here is actually the graduation of those programs. In the last 3 years, I've done 14 rounds of acceleration. I meet 300 to 400 startups a year. About 150 of them get into my programs, graduate. Numbers of graduation is about 70 to 80% of startups taking part in the program graduate, and I would say about 40 to 50% find an investment. Higher numbers get term sheets, if you're familiar with the term of a term sheet, before investment, but a smaller percentage really in the end gets the investment, and that is seed money until up until $1 million. Okay. These are the founders of Israel. Benjamin Zev Herzl on the right, and Ben-Gurion, our first prime minister, on the left. I showed you this, I put those pictures for a simple reason. Israel was founded the same way as a startup starts, and sadly or not, is still running the same way as a startup. Theodor Herzl in 1898 stood on a balcony in Basel and said the Jews need their own country. 50 years later came Ben-Gurion, and in 1948 we had Israel. Israel started, as you see in the background of Ben-Gurion, as a desert. Water are not plentiful in Israel, lots of desert space, and as every entrepreneur encounters, everything was working against us. Why this is similar to entrepreneurial life? Because an entrepreneur meets people that want to help him. So they tell him, your idea is not so-so. You know what? I saw it already on Google. So you miss out a few heartbeats and you run to Google and you found out that your friend didn't understand correctly what you do, and it is not exactly what he found, is not what you do. We are always poor. Entrepreneurs don't have money. They bootstrap. They work from their garage. Okay? They always ask for money, loans. They have no problem meeting someone for the first time and after 5 minutes ask him, give me $1 million. Amazing. Think about it for a minute. You would not have the nerve to turn to any of your family or friends and say, give me $1 million. They're going to kick your ass. But when you meet someone you don't know, you ask him for 5 minutes. Amazing. And you know what? Nothing happens in those 5 minutes. In reality, no one stands in a demo day in front of investors, speak and pitches for 5 minutes and gets money. It doesn't work. He might, in a way, create interest for someone to say, this is my business card. Call me. Okay. When it happens in the United States, they're not exactly expecting you for you to call the next day. Call in a few months, but they say, call me, yeah, call me. In Israel, it's different. In Israel, you need to call the next day, and probably you would meet, and maybe you will get the expected investment. I want to share with you a short movie. I need sound. How do I do sound? Connect sound.
There is no speakers.
No speakers here?
No speakers on maximum. Without the
try it here.
How much stuff has its origins in Israel? It's rather remarkable. The microprocessors invented by Intel were designed in Israel. Nowhere in the world outside of Silicon Valley can you find technology startups. People come from all over the world to look for Israeli technology.
Warren Buffett shelled out more than $4 billion for Iscar Metalworking, the largest purchase that legendary investor has made outside the United States.
I understand that they're so incredible. Well, I would expect that. Intel developed here, HP has a center here, Google is very successful here, Microsoft as well as the research and development.
Yeah, because of AI, Microsoft is almost as much an Israeli company as a U.S. company.
It's definitely such a big side of that. So, both national. Well, it's technology comes out of the world, different same lives, and money. Wow. For instance, that's my market called is very called Israel. They all have money. The way they built Israel.
Okay, so, as you can see the general picture coming out, what everyone was saying here, after you saw the big names like Google, like Marvell, like Cisco, Johnson & Johnson, HP, IBM, you name it. All those huge companies, what they've done, they decided to invest in an Israeli startup. And then instead of taking the startup and their people technology outside Israel, said let's leave it here and we will open a small R&D center around it. And this is why those companies are inside Israel. Now driving Israel from side to side, you would need about 6 hours. If you want to drive our width, okay, how wide we are, okay, in about 1 hour, you have driven side to side. That's Israel. To have in that small geography all those huge names means that everyone is close and nearby to you. You don't have to fly to Silicon Valley to meet Google. You just walk in Tel Aviv, you see a big name, you go up, you knock on the door and you talk to them. You have an amazing startup to offer them, this is how you do it. You don't send emails, and you don't say what, you just walk, and you knock on doors. This is how we do it, as the song says, okay? This is how we do it. Very straight and simple, okay? What you see here is what came out of this visionary called Ben-Gurion, our Prime Minister. This is a kibbutz called Revivim, which is just 2 kilometers from Sde Boker, where our Prime Minister Ben-Gurion lived most of his life. What you see here is the new program that I've launched 3 months ago. It is called The Hatchery. Why? You know what's a hatchery? Where small chicks start their life in. Small chicks are our entrepreneurs. They are small chicks in the beginning. What we made here is we made a boot camp. We slept in tent over a weekend, okay? we brought mentors, we brought startups, and we did everything around fire. Okay, we sat around the fireplace, we ate some meat, we ate some this and that, everything is in the desert, okay? And tents and everything, so original like then. But day after, we opened the hatchery, which looks like this now, like any hub you have and you know, and we started the program. The uniqueness here is that we brought entrepreneurs from all around Israel. We gave them small apartments that we've renovated for them. They are living here for 4 months. We gave them all the needed help, meaning they're going to eat in the kibbutz, they're going to sleep in the kibbutz, and they're going to have programmers, UI, UX, iOS, Android, graphic designer, the works. Everything is being given to them for equity, about 8% equity in those startups for those services. But again, the uniqueness is a kibbutz, which is like a city, like a village. It's a municipality in a way, holds those shares. This is just to tell you that we as Israelis still invent ourselves. We try everything. We take huge risks. First of all, look where we are located. Around us are our brothers and the sea. This is how risky, or how much risk we are willing to take to stay in this holy land, and this is what drives us as entrepreneurs to act the same way. To decide to leave your job, to quit your day job at Google and take all your life savings and spend them on a dream is amazing. But every second Israeli does that. It's a way of life. It is someone everyone speaks of. It is not unique to a certain person or for a certain group. This is how we live it, okay? And this is why we can achieve, and this is why you see on the movie Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, the biggest names saying, if you want creativity, you want innovation, you come to Israel. You'll find it plenty. Some numbers. So as we said, we're a young country, young nation. Interesting number is number 3. Our GDP, okay, is just $300 billion. Russia's is trillions, okay? So we are small in that matter. But the more interesting part is that out of those 300 billion, we take 4.7% and invest in startups. Our government takes money, comes mostly from taxes, and invests the same way as an angel investor will invest in a startup. Why? Our government expects to get what is called an ROI, return on investment, and it does. You know, for instance, we have sold Waze to Google. You know Waze? You don't use Waze so much here, okay? It's a navigation system when you drive. This company was sold for $1.1 billion to Google. Our government gets taxes. It's an Israeli company, she pays taxes. So the government concluded that the whole of that year, what she invested from this money came back after selling just one startup. You'll see in a minute that we sell much more. We're the second highest educated workforce as a country. We have 1,000 new startups a year. We have about 700 VC deals closed a year. We raised VC money, $3.5 billion a year. We raised by companies, okay, they went public, IPOs, about $10 billion. And you see the rest of the numbers. 70 acceleration program. We're currently about nearing 100. I'm not sure how many you know that you have in Russia. Not 100. We have 18 OCS incubators. OCS, our chief scientists, takes money and opens an incubator, which is like an acceleration program, but it does a bid. It is won by a company because our government cannot hold shares from startups. So the winner of that bid is a company. She holds the shares, and every startup accepted to the program gets $500,000 to $750,000 for 2 years running in this program. Afterwards, we have the second stage where we do matching. Our government gives $1 million for a matching of $1 million. Again, I know it is being done here as well. So more about us.
Over the past few days, we've taken a look at Korea's startup environment, but today we turn our focus to Israel, a relatively small country in terms of geography and population, but a world leader when it comes to fostering new companies. Our Connie Kim shows us what makes business innovation there possible.
Israel has over 60 IT startups listed on the NASDAQ. That's more than the combined total number of startups from Europe, China, Japan, and Korea. This comes on the back of the country's strong R&D gene. Scientists and technicians per capita in Israel are nearly double those in the U.S., helping Israel's innovative city, Tel Aviv, become the second best startup ecosystem in the world after California's Silicon Valley. Experts say the country's unique chutzpah culture, or pioneer spirit, also plays an important role in creating venture capital labs. But helping to weave these elements together is the government. Through seed investments, it's supporting the core technology of startups, hard and costly to build up, but regarded as critical for development.
They are heavily investing in this very, very risky stage where usually the commercial organizations are quite averse to investing in this area.
Maybe louder.
Israel's first venture capital firm was established in the mid-1980s. By 1993, the government collaborated with the private sector to form Yozma, one of the country's largest venture capital funds. Luring in foreign venture capitalists by offering tax incentives and doubling investment through a government matching program, Yozma managed over $220 million in its three funds.
Israel's venture capital funds take bold steps in making risky investments, but that's not the case in Korea, where investors have high expectations on retrieving the money they put in.
Creating a favorable environment for new businesses, Yozma also helped connect and oversee the acquisition of local startups by global corporations such as Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, and Cisco. In 2013, the acquisitions and IPOs of Israeli companies far exceeded $6 billion, while startups total more than $2 billion in venture funding. With the right conditions to flourish, market watchers say there's a good chance the next Facebook or Google will emerge from Israel. Connie Kim, IDEA News.
So as you know, Facebook is already Jewish. You know, so we just need an Israeli. So probably I have a good feeling we will do it. Okay. So let's see, this ecosystem that we talk about, and I'm very happy to hear that people here also use this term, ecosystem, consists of the following. First of all, we have this huge bubble where we have the startups, of course, inside, and the angels, the mentors, the service providers, the VCs. But on the bottom is culture. Now I want to talk to you about the culture. Why we, I think, unique and I think very different, but I think this is something you can learn and adopt. First of all, in Israel currently, entrepreneurs are the new cultural heroes. Everyone has a startup in Israel. I don't know how to say it differently. I mean, wherever you throw a stone, you hit a startup, a founder, a VC, an angel, and this ecosystem is amazing. It's all around you. You can ask my 4-year-old daughter, about startups. She will tell you this is something her father does. She not exactly know what it is, but it's some kind of a company that does this and that. It's very different. When it's all around you, it is something that you eat, breathe, and sleep on, it becomes a part of you. But it is gone to a stage in Israel, I think it's over the top. Meaning, by now, what I want to see entrepreneurs saying is not there are like startup people, but more of a problem solver. Because you need to have a real fundamental need, pain, problem, and a great solution for it with a huge market and potential. Probably you're gonna succeed. Otherwise, you're wasting everyone's time and money. So currently, it is getting to the point where everyone who is everyone, instead of, I would say, signing unemployment, says, I have a startup, which is not good. But it's, in a way, it's gonna stop, I'm sure. Second, Israelis always question authority. They don't get no as an answer. Give me some funds. The answer no does not make an entrepreneur, Israeli entrepreneur say, okay, bye, thank you. No. Makes him more stubborn. He will sit on you, he will sleep outside your door. He will get your money. He's a guy on a mission. If someone tells you in Israel, you know what? I think the way you're going is wrong. I think your business model is a mistake. You don't say thank you very much and you're going to replace it. You're going to find someone who will say that's a great business model. And this is, again, in a way, something that is a part of a DNA. Not getting, not getting a no as something which is absolute. Not getting one opinion as that is it. Someone told me it's the worst idea. It is a waste of time, and I'm saying thank you very much, and I'm going and I'm stripping everything and I'm closing my startup. In Israel, when someone gets it, it makes him wanting it even more. Everyone in Israel is reachable. Everyone is reachable. There is no one in Israel that you will need to get up through 8 secretaries to reach him. If this is the case, you will wait in the elevator. You will wait next to his car. You will walk to the synagogue with him. You will find him on Saturday with his kids in the cinema, and you will approach him and say, I want to talk to you. And the amazing part, he will not kick you. He will not say, oh my God, what do you think? He will say, okay, you caught me. You succeeded. It is good. He's saying on a good part. I see how stubborn you are. Okay? Fine. Call me Sunday. And he will answer the phone. You can reach ministers. You can reach the biggest angel investors in Israel using a phone. Or be creative. You don't puncture their wills, okay? This you don't do. But you will find a way how to reach them. Having this stubbornness, okay? Having this understanding that a no is not an acceptable answer. Something needs to move ahead. So you see young people, and remember in Israel, the military, of course, is mandatory, as you know. Okay. So army is mandatory, and army means that in the age of 18, no one asks you if you want or you don't want, you're in the army. Women for 2 years, men for 3 years. But half of the population continues on, and they become officers and receive more and more years. And in any case, you find yourself in a very young age, by 19, already after doing the first training, you find yourself getting or having to decide on difficult issues, life or death issues, with no one next to you to ask. You are giving authority, you are given responsibility, and you're expected to use them with your brains. When you come out of the army, in most cases you are very different. Of course, much more mature, for sure. In some cases, I would say 50% of the cases, you will find yourself anyway in some kind of a technological unit, like 8200, one of the famous units in Israel. We are dealing with intelligence. Out of it came the best cyber companies in the world. Check Point, for instance, came out of there. And I can tell you the best in the world because I just went to the cyber and you were with me. Every company I've met, I've asked, who do you want to reach in Israel? Check Point. World leader, worth billions of dollars. Those companies take more than half of the entire world industry in their expertise. So in any case, if you want to avoid being a founder of a startup, so you're taken to the army and you've been taught technology, so it is already taking you out of the army, and then that unit, 8200, open their own acceleration program, so they're waiting for you. So you leave the army and say, okay, come. You learned, you trained, come out, do it with us. And they have created some of the biggest companies in Israel, IPOs, exits, the works. We have universities. Every university has its own entrepreneurship and innovation center. Everyone. Universities, academies throughout Israel. That's a must. All students get courses as part of their degree. Done. But some of them, now I would say about 70% of them, have also acceleration program. I would know because I operate 4 of them myself. So we are waiting for those students to get in, those alumni as well, but that is not for academic reasons. They get no credit for it. This is on their time. And out of that, in some cases, of course, we have startups. Multinational, we talked about, successful startup, failed startup. Are you familiar with a conference called FailCon? Okay, I'll repeat. Are you familiar with a conference called FailCon? Well, Israel has every year a conference which is all about failure. This is the theme of the conference. People get on stage and talk about their failures. We are risk takers. We are not afraid of anyone, especially not failure. Most investors in Israel, either VCs, angels, whatever, when you come to them, you know what? Google. Ask Google's HR. Every worker interviewing in Google is being asked the same question. Tell me, describe a failure. You don't have it? Thank you very much. Investors in Israel, same thing. If you have failed, folded, on the ground, stood up back again, came up with a new startup, well, you're not ordinary people. If you never, if you continue failing, it is not something which is good, of course. Okay? You succeed. But it is essential, it is crucial in our culture to fail and rise up again with a new idea. Not half an idea, not close to, but a good idea, a good startup. This slide is timing me. We have Aliyah. And Aliyah, as I said, is the immigrants coming into Israel. And I'm emphasizing here because I'm in Moscow. The amount of Russians coming to Israel, technology-wise, have boosts enormously our industry, especially startups. But, and I'm open here, okay, don't hate me for this, And tell me if I'm exaggerating too much. Whereas Russian engineers are quite square. Israelis are best in cutting corners. We are everything about going around and cutting the corners, getting quicker to the target. And I'm seeing this since, again, in my acceleration programs, I came today, I was supposed to be here yesterday, because yesterday I opened 2 programs. One in Ashdod, which is like 20 kilometers south of Tel Aviv, and in Be'er Sheva, which is an hour and something from Tel Aviv. I have 20 startups in each acceleration program, half born and raised Israel, half Aliyah from Russia, Ukraine. That's vicinity. And I tell them in the first meeting they need to do a presentation, they need to present their startup. Okay. Russian entrepreneurs go on stage. Face. English. Do the presentation. No smile, no jokes, ta 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 ta. Talking about technology. I have a question in the end. I didn't understand anything. Can you talk marketing to me, not technology? He tries again. Well, the algorithm. Drop the word algorithm. Well, if you calculate, don't calculate anything. Marketing doesn't work. Then comes the Israeli. Yeah, this and that question. Do you have a CTO in the company? No, I need to find one. Good. Do you have any understanding in the technology? No, but I had a great idea, but you know, it will work. Okay. How long do you think it will take you to do the R&D? 6 months. Okay. But I think it will take you a year. Okay, so it will take me a year. Okay, I think a year and a half. It's not a year and a half. What would happen if after 6 months that you said in the beginning, you're not going to deliver the milestone? He says, no, there's no chance. I am going to deliver in 6 months. Reality. I invest $250,000. 6 months go by. 6 months, meaning June 30th. Nothing happens. No phone call, no email, no WhatsApp, no Viber, no Twitter, no nothing. I wait for 2 weeks. I call him after the 3rd week. Hello? What's going on? Everything's okay. But you're late. 3 weeks. It was June. Oh, I thought it was July. Give me just 1 week. And then what? I'm going to call you. 31st July. Nothing happens. A week. 2 weeks. I'm calling him. So what's going on? I had reserve time. I was in the army. They called me. I couldn't. I said, "You're lying to me." No, I swear to God. Give me just 2 days, and you know what? A year and a half go by. Nothing happens, and the guy would not ever admit he lied to you in a way. No, he said he really believes he's gonna make it. He's gonna deliver. Russian entrepreneur. Not June 30th, 29th. Delivered. That's a huge difference. He would not know how to sell it, how to market it, how to come up with a business model, but he will deliver on time. Why? Well, engineering and technology, that's his strong side. The Israeli one, well, he can do marketing. I mean, when you do sales and marketing, you need to be a big liar. I mean, you're actually telling someone, believe me, my product works. Well, not 100%. It should, but it's not. This is why the combination is amazing. And you need to see it day to day in Israel. How this combination is just nothing short of amazing. Now think that we can bring those guys here or these guys there and simulate things and work together. I think it will be amazing. I'm inviting you to Israel, to my programs, for a road show, to see reality happens. We talked about these huge names. All those names sit in Israel. You need to understand, again, when it comes to the ecosystem, having those companies just a few streets from you, a few meters from you just need to walk and knock on the door, is amazing. You can bring actually technology to these huge names. Now, these huge names also made another progress. Not only did they invest in the startups and decided to leave them, not only did they make out of them R&D centers, they also opened their own accelerators. So today, Samsung is about to open Runway. IBM has its own. Johnson & Johnson has its own. eBay, Google, AOL has Nautilus in Israel. SAP, all those big names have opened by their decision acceleration programs. Acceleration programs or accelerators are the first stage where we take young entrepreneurs for a program of about 4 to 5 months. They don't get office space, they just get meetings, frontal meetings, either once a week, every 2 weeks, okay? And after about 10 to 14 meetings, they have a demo day. Demo day, investors, industrial people, serial entrepreneurs, they all sit in the same room. They get 5 minutes to pitch, hopefully raise money. Let's see what's going on here.
Imagine a spark that fires the imagination, that produces a light idea, that starts a chain reaction. That reveals how everything is connected. Illuminating perspective. Generating more brilliant ideas. Delivering unique, intelligent solutions. Light up the world of possibilities. Imagine a spark. Your understanding is invention.
The spark. Well, the spark in Israel starts mainly in the age of 15. This is one of the most famous programs in Israel. Currently working in lots of schools in Israel. Students in the age of 15 until they recruit to the army, being invited to take part. They start the first year with coming up with 100 ideas for innovation, problem solving. In the age of 16, they're already standing in front of VCs and raise money. They are taught, real VCs, of course not the millions, but it's more about the training, okay? They are trained at a young age to do it. If this is the culture, imagine the results in the age of 30 and 40. So this program is all over Israel. It is adopted to Orthodox Jews, to Israeli Arabs, especially. Everyone is involved. It is not for the unique, okay? So this is how they start. They recruit to the army, maybe to 8 to 100, again, technology and startups. They finish it, they go to universities and colleges. This is a company, Sensority. Those two guys, Dima and Valery, did Aliyah from the Ukraine in the age of 7 and 15. They are now just finished their degree for computer science in a college. one of the colleges where I have my acceleration program. They went into the program, finished it on May. Their startup, which you're gonna see in a minute, attracted the attention of Sony, LG, Samsung. Those names contact those young guys. They didn't look for them, you just called them. You know, when I say it's one phone call away, it works both ways. And what they came up with is this.
Introducing Sensori. Sensori develops video analytics technology for distance sensing and analyzing physiological data of humans using photoplethysmography science by real-time video stream from the camera. So, where can Sensori be used? Well, did your child cry loudly when the doctor wanted to check his vitals? When using Sensori, the doctor just needs to point his camera at the child to get heart rate, respiration rate, and blood pressure. Sensori can also be used for homeland security applications. Based on the intelligent analysis of physiological parameters, Sensori can detect people having illness and epidemic, or people with malicious intent in airports. So Sensori can detect and notify proper authorities. Sensori can give you cancer. Sensori has endless technological applications and scalability. Bring the future here and now. Join the future of distance sensing of physiological data. Visit our website or call us. www.sensori.net. Sensori looks beyond your vision.
Two young guys, great in algorithmic, great in math, coming from around here somewhere, came up with this, being courted by the biggest companies in the world. They're gonna raise about $5 million, very close. I'm one of the investors in the company. And what is amazing is that they didn't do army. They, because of medical something. They are programmers from the age of 8. They have, if you want, in a way, I would say the Russian way of doing things. They don't play around, they don't joke, they work. So they come up with great technology. But, as I see more and more, it ends there. First of all, they're very young at age. They don't have experience. So they get into acceleration program, they get the tools, and they continue on. By now, Dimitri is doing meetings with those huge companies. He's been competing in different competitions. In Israel, every day you have another competition. Being a performer of one of the huge conglomerates that you see, this is again the way that we encounter more and more startups. Those companies want to see startups, so they do competitions every day. You can go to meetups every day. Google is open for everyone. I don't know if you know, if you have Google here, but Google works in a way, they have a place in offices and everything, and they give it for free. You just need to sign yourself in, you get refreshments, food and everything. The place is open for you. It is always in a huge, the best looking tower in town, and it's open for everyone. This is an example of a company that I see the strong connection between here and there, or there and here. These are some of the names, that some of them I'm sure you heard about, that came out of Israel and made some money. And we're about to end. I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that you use, but did you know that they actually came from Israel?
When you get up in the morning, get into your car and drive to work, you probably use Waze to avoid traffic. Waze was developed in Israel. If your eyes stray from the road for a moment, you will promptly be warned by your mobile eye safety system, another Israeli development. is stressing you out, your smartwatch will monitor your pulse and remind you to slow things down a little, thanks to an electro-optic sensor developed in Israel. Your laptop most probably runs on a processor developed in Intel, Israel. Do you use the internet? Next time you visit Facebook or Google or use Microsoft products, remember they all use network components developed by Mellanox from Israel. Do you transfer data on memory sticks? That technology was invented in Israel. Those family and friend photos you snap with your mobile camera, the camera was developed in Israel. Enjoy getting help from Google Complete. Yes, right, that too was developed in Israel. And last but not least, next year, Israel Aerospace Industries from Israel and Facebook will launch a satellite that will provide internet connection in remote areas where even water is not available.
Israel, 67 years old, 8 million people, small country. It's like, I don't know, a neighborhood here. Came up with this. Enemies all around. Army mandatory. Bombing, explosions, missiles, the works, whatever you hear. When you come to Tel Aviv, whatever you see on news doesn't happen really, okay? It's science fiction what you see. You come to Tel Aviv, you see beaches, okay, sea, sun, everything is open 24/7. Okay, degrees now. Now is winter in Israel. Okay, it's like 20 degrees now. That's winter. Now I'm coming to minus. Oh my God. And people are very friendly. Everyone wants to help you. Big competition wherever you look. Having to be an entrepreneur, competing with 1,000 startups a year is a tremendous achievement if you do it, okay? Money, well, money is not scarce in Israel. We have money, but we have other problems. Market. Israel, by now, is being boycotted in some countries, okay? They close the borders to us. They say this and that, settlement, schmettlement, whatever, is a problem. We turn to you and say, you're a big market. You're not a huge market. Although you are 130-something million people, about 20% of your market is relevant for us. You know what? About 20% of the market is relevant to you as startups in Russia. Because of internet, because of being in the center, okay? I'm not seeing many startups building in Kamchatka. Big far away, I don't know. But it is still a big market. To succeed in Russia is getting a stamp of quality. Is worldwide known. Engineers, worldwide known. Space, drones, energy, very well known. Starting cyber, starting fintech, as I saw today. For us as a country to have a channel, the capability to share ideas, to talk, to have the capability of getting assistance on the technological side, engineering side, is very interesting. I think for you to get perspective, not innovation, I think you're innovative enough here, but a different way of doing business, or maybe even doing the business, is something that we can bring. Why? Well, you have your credentials. You've been flying to the moon, to the wherever, satellites and space rockets and everything. And we do billions of exits. That's reality. I mean, the numbers are on Google. But together, I think the sum is much more of the parts that you see. Okay, 1 and 1 in our case is 3 or 4 or 5. That's the idea. I want to leave you with the last movie, but it is important for me that you will hear it because it will leave you with some inspiration. It is not me talking, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you're familiar with the name. And I really, really, offer you to come close and listen to it, it's up to you now. But there are, subtitles anyway, so, here goes.
People ask me all the time, what is the secret to success? First of all, you should trust yourself. Deep down, ask yourself, do you want to be? Not what to do. I'm talking about not what the parents teach you what to do with you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourself what makes you happy. And how ways to be self-fulfilling. So number one is always trust yourself no matter how what anyone else thinks. You know, those whatever things break the rules. So you know what's right about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. It is impossible to elaborate or original if you do what we need, not to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I mean. What's the point of this drug? All you have to do is be like that everyone will be avoid trouble. The only way that I don't have anything was to break the rules. Rule number 3, don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. Always win, but don't be afraid of making decisions. Can't get paralyzed with fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. If you push it because you believe in yourself and in your vision, if you know that it's the right thing to do, success will come. So don't be afraid to fail. Which makes me go into number 4, which is don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, how many times have you heard, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's never been done before. I love it when someone says, no one has ever done this before, because I know it, it means the wrong way to say it. So pay no attention to the people who say it can't be done. I always listen to myself and say, yes, you can. Then we go to rule number 5, which is the most important rule in the world of all. Work to one off. I've always believing those come unturned. Muhammad Ali, one of my great heroes, had a great line in the 70s when he was asked how many sit-ups do you do. He said, I don't count my sit-ups, I want to start counting when it starts hurting. When you feel pain, that's when it starts counting, because that's when it really counts. That's what makes you a champion. That's the way it is in everything. No pain, no gain. Let me tell you, it is important to have fun in life. But when you're out there, partying, horsing around, someone is working hard. Someone is getting smarter, and someone is waiting. Just remember that. Thinking on the way, there's absolutely no way around hard or drunk. None of them will find a way to succeed in the world the best you do. I've always figured out that there's 24 hours a day. You sleep 6 hours. And 8 hours a night. I know that some of you out there know some of wait a minute, I sleep 8 hours or 9 hours, but it just sleep fast enough I would recommend. Just remember, you can't find no way around success. Your hands in the pocket. That takes me to rule number 6, which is a very important rule. It's about giving back. Whatever path that you make in your life, you must always try to give something back. Something back to your community, something back to society. Whatever done something that you want to talk to people, maybe more satisfaction is most of the time. Remember those 6 rules. Those are the self-break some rules. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't the naysayers. Work like hell. You give something back.
That's it. Okay, so, I'm done, you can smile, it's over.
Thank you very much.
So if you have any questions, questions or you want to discuss something, please feel free. It's your time now.
So you talked that there are a lot of business centers in Israel,
Okay, right?
and there are not so many here in Russia. Is it a strong part of this ecosystem?
The investors,
Yeah. I mean, angels.
the angel investors. First of all, I don't know how many angel investors you have, but I do know you have very wealthy people here. Some of them come to Israel, like Roman Abramovich, and which I learned today owns the golf court there, and I know invested in one of the startups I was involved. The guy gave $1.5 million quicker than I can close this computer. Why? He was very impressed with the entrepreneurs, with the team. He thought the idea was just interesting. They raised money before they came to him. They raised $500,000, actually entering into one of the chief scientist incubators, and they turned to him. I was turned to on Tuesday this week, 2 days ago, before I came here, and I was told a very wealthy businessman from Russia is in Israel, and he is looking to invest in one startup. I gave him sincerity. Hopefully you invest $2.5 million like this, hopefully. So money in Russia, that's not a big deal. But as I hear it in Israel, when you say to entrepreneurs money is not an issue, it just makes them very angry because they can't reach this money. And what I explain is that, on the other hand, the angel investors are also angry for not finding good startups. My job, in some cases, as a broker, is to bring money and technology together. That's an art. That is very difficult to do. You're familiar with the term sheet? Have you signed one or maybe reviewed one? Any of you are entrepreneurs? You have startups? Anyone here? You have a startup? You have a startup? You have a startup? You have a startup? Okay. Imagine me lecturing in Israel. Okay? People will be standing outside this door. Everyone in the room was start. Even the cleaning lady was say, I have a startup, of course, I want. That's the difference. Okay? In Israel, this lecture, which started about 8 or 9 in the evening, not 5. 5 is still the time that people work. And people will be fighting to get into the room. And there is really no reason to say number of chairs is not open, because they would come up through the ceiling, through the windows, you can't stop them. They will be under here, just to be in this room. When you ask yourself about the ecosystem, look around you. Very different. I went to the cyber conference. I met 7 or 8 companies. In Israel, 2 floors. In what? 4 or 5 downstairs and 3, 4 were upstairs. In Israel, you'll have about 50 here and 150 over there, screaming about those 50. It's not fair because they are there and everyone is coming and seeing them, and they'll start fighting on the elevator, up and down, where to stand. I was sitting at close call this thing and talking to them in their accelerator hub something offices. We were sitting in a room that had glass all around, big conference room. And I was looking around all the time. Nothing happened. It was us and those 2 guys talking. In Israel, every second point 1, you'll have someone on the window looking inside the room, saying, I want to talk to you, I have someone, bring them to me. They don't know what's going on, but it looks interesting. They look like people from outside. I want to talk to them. That's the environment. Everything is about competition. Nothing is being served on a silver platter. You need to work your ass off. This is why what he's saying is business as usual in Israel. This is why we are different. This is why I've decided with the foreign ministry to bring this, to shout out this to you guys or wherever I go. Because tomorrow morning I'll be in Riga, in Latvia, saying the same. But in Riga, life is very simple. 2 million people and less. One accelerator, 3 exits a year. Life is brilliant. For me, great opportunity. Great opportunity. I was there 2.5 weeks ago, but from the foreign ministry. This time I was called back by their economy office. Why? They have problem with immigration. People are leaving Latvia. There's nothing else to do there. It's cold, it's black, it's night, okay? Nothing works, I don't know, at night. So they leave. They look for work. This immigration can be stopped. Why? Because around startup, there is a whole ecosystem. Forget angel, forget money, okay? Forget banks, forget government. Ecosystem, real one. Developers, UI, UX, graphic designers, iOS, algorithmic, mathematics, engineers this, engineers that, marketing, sales, door openers, marketing channels, the works networking around it. So what I do is I go to municipalities which are far away, Israel, 2 hours from Tel Aviv, and I'm opening in that municipality an acceleration/hub. And I build around it those freelancers or small companies giving the service. And they stay in the hometown. Why? They want to stay there because their families are there. B, some angels, or most angels worldwide, don't like so much to invest in a company that leaves the country and goes to the US. Okay? Your goal, say whatever you want about Obama and the United States, your goal as Russians is to get the American market on your side, to make it there. Why? Simple, potential, 350 million people. And for us Israelis, going there is because they all speak the same language, which is English. This is why Israelis try to do whatever they can to get into the US market. Just for this reason, 2 reasons. Huge market, speak English. We don't do it in Europe. Even in Russia, with 130 million, 20 million are about relevant. So this is why every Israeli startup knows more about the US economy than any American knows about his economy, for sure about us. And some of it is, of course, invented, because this is the life of an entrepreneur. You don't need to be exact. I mean, you sell dreams to gamblers, which are the investors. I mean, believe me, my money is much safe in my bank account than in yours. But for some reason, I want to invest in you. So I wouldn't know how the environment works here regarding investment, but I know there's big money here, and I hear it, not because I'm saying it, I hear it from people from here, saying money is not the issue. So the money is not the issue here, so what is the issue? The issue I hear is that you have resourceful people, engineers, but they lack the business side. This is what I heard the whole day today. And this is something we can bring. Whereas you can bring to us the market and technology, meaning those engineers. So either we can cooperate or not. I mean, it's up to you to decide. You and everyone, because I believe, I mean, everything needs to start in small steps. So if you would decide, me, like I'm not Putin, so I understand this, but someone needs to take this first step. So I made it. My foreign ministry, my embassy said, come over here. Okay? So I did. I was expecting 500 people. UK, which is great for me. I thank you for this. Okay? but look at the opportunity that was missed by others that didn't come here and didn't get this opportunity to get this shout out and take it with you. Because I'm sure that when you go home today, you'll say to your wife, your husband, your friend, your girlfriend, your father, your mother, your something, listen, today was different. Today I heard something I never heard before. I heard about a country which I knew, Israel, something in the, I don't know where, next to Australia. And this is what they do. And those movies, I didn't make them, they're all on YouTube. You write Arnold Schwarzenegger 6 steps to Success, you can see it. And you can see it over and over again and get some inspiration. It is easier to try it on YouTube, inspirational videos, and you get the same. That's how you do.
First of all, I would like to apologize. I don't know why I say that, but I would like to apologize because it's extremely interesting. But the problem was that the invitation for this lecture appeared just one day ago, and nobody knows about it. So that's why it's so not very many people.
I'm coming back on February.
Yeah, fine.
I want
That will
500
be
people
much bigger outcome.
Thank you.
Question is, do you think the success of this environment, which you said existing in Israel, is a reduction of bureaucracy and more people-to-people contact, or it's something inherited in Israel population?
It is a tricky question.
Because I heard that you have lots of bureaucracy.
Yeah, so I'll tell you why it's a great question. First of all, it's like touching an open nerve. Talking bureaucracy, wherever you are. So you can ask it here, in Israel, wherever. But the nice thing is that a startup does not have to raise money with the government or government incubators, although the country offers money so simply. It is something that you are so tempted to take, but it has restrictions. And I will say, first of all, the smallest amount of money that our government gives, I would say almost for free, is $50,000. You just need to apply some forms. You need to show innovation. Now it's 1 out of 10 companies get $50,000. You never give them back. You don't give equity, take the money. A. Then you get the funds. Bureaucracy is just waiting about 3 months, and this was last changed by the government saying it is not okay for a startup to wait more than 48 days to receive an answer once he applied, yes or no. Now is mandatory. This is how it works. When it goes to the private sector, things are like this. I'm an investor myself, I'm an angel investor. If you were to come to me with a great idea, my decision is just me, I don't have a board, it's me. Actually, it's me and my wife. It's me. She will know afterwards, and probably I would sleep out some nights, but it's still me. And I need 2 seconds to decide. You know, meetings with me are without a presentation. Don't take out your laptop, don't show me you have a tablet. You talk to me. Why? As brilliant as my product would be, either app or this device, it has a major fault. It cannot raise money by itself. It sits here, looks very nice. Period. Talk to it. Ask me for money. Doesn't work. Siri maybe, then you can repeat me, but that's it. So he needs me to talk. When I say I will deliver on time, this is me talking to the investor, not us. So don't show me your app. Don't show me your device. You talk to me. You convince me you have what it takes. You convince me, and it takes an Israeli to talk to an Israeli. You remember the story. You said 3 months. I'm doubling. I'm coming towards you and saying, you said 3 months? Take 6 months. Difference. First of all, if you were to come to me and say, I have an MVP working, MVP, working? I would say, great. How much did you invest? 99% of entrepreneurs will say, invest? Of course, I didn't take a salary. Come again? I worked my butt off. Sweat and blood. I did not take a salary. And I look at you back as an entrepreneur saying, is this my problem? I mean, this is how you invested? Our investment is real money. Not services, okay? Not barters, not instead of money. They don't put money. They don't have money. I know this. Then I would ask, okay, how much money do you need? The answer would be the magic number in Israel, 500 to 1 million. These are numbers you cannot raise in Israel. Why? Angel investor would give up to 500. Most cases, 99%, to angel investors. Why? They want to share the risk. They'll be friends. They need to know about one another. A startup cannot raise from me and from you without us telling and saying, okay, done. Million and above, VCs. Middle, gap. This gap today is being closed in Israel by micro VCs. They took this gap, took money, 5 to 1, this is what they give. In some cases, we have programs coming from overseas. For instance, from Japan. We have a program called Samowai, came to Israel. It gives one way or the highway. It gives you an evaluation of $900,000, takes 10% equity, gives you $100,000, give you office space, 5 months. You don't want it? Here's the door. No negotiation. You're in. This program brought money from Japan, 4 to 5 startups a year from Japan, 8 to 10 startups from Israel, close them in one big room, say kill one another, teach one another, whatever one another, come out, brilliant. And it works. I see delegations coming from Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Denmark, Finland. I see them coming from China, from India. I don't see so much from America. There, as Google, Microsoft CEO said by himself, Ballmer, he said, well, we're like Israelis anyways. They all come to learn the miracle. The big question is, can we clone, duplicate? So if I'm saying it's DNA, either you have it or not. I think that what we have done, not over 800 years, 900 years. I have a trainer here, my mentor here, that tells me my history here. Much less. The program for youth is 15. Chief scientist is doing his incubator for the last less than 20 years. So it's not so long, but it is working for us. So can we duplicate? I would say yes. It's a matter of decision. It will not be the same. It will be close, but it's a decision. I do understand that if the notice about my election went out yesterday, it is a problem. But you know what? I'm leaving it open for the next time. Okay. And I do think that it should start with little steps, but people need to take action. It needs to trouble enough people to decide, let's do something about it. In Israel, it worked with the government. But it was not the government that turned to the industry and said, here's the money. It was the industry coming day to day to the government saying, it will not work otherwise. Give us the money. The government looked at the industry and said, you know what? Fine, I'll give the money. How do I get it back? Business model. What is a business model in a business plan? Business model equals how I'm going to earn money equals how I'm going to return the investor's money back to him. So the government looked at the industry and said, fine, show me how I'm going to get the money. The industry said, don't worry. First of all, we get investment from overseas. Second, we're going to have exits. Skeptical, started. It didn't start. It started with ICQ. ICQ was the first one, sold to AOL for billions, okay? And then, year after year after year, the government saw it works, so it raises the investment. It was not a VC, you know, a venture capital. The best thing you want to do in life is manage a VC. You know why? A VC manages money of someone else, not his money. Nothing in the VC fund is out of those people that's running the VC. They take money from overseas. So if you were to check a VC, you will find that the Association of Violin Teachers in Connecticut put the money in the VC. They don't know about it. They know about it, and they manage their money. So why should they care? It's a VC, venture capital. It's a venture, whether it works or not. Worst case, nothing happens to the manager. Big salaries, no responsibility almost. Well, they have a responsibility to give 3 times over the money back to the investors. That's a pain in the ass. It is a lot of work, okay? But if you're a VC in Israel, opportunity is endless. Just need to choose. Demo days. Well, in demo days in Israel, they will sell you that you'll have 80 people in the crowd, all investors. If you have 5 investors, I'm Putin. And I'm not, and they're not. Why? Well, investors in Israel don't really have to leave home. Everyone knows who they are. You know why? We have an angel list. Someone woke up in the morning, put a list on Google, and all of Israel has it. Phone numbers, emails, addresses, and it's even being updated by the startup themselves and shared all around. It's not someone said, oh, this is mine, I'm not going to share it. Opposite, I want to share it. I want to go with you and catch this angel. You come from here, I'll come from here, we'll catch him in the middle. That's an environment. That's culture.
That's fine. I have a question. In Russia, we have actually the, what do you call it, program, I would say, from different ministries and government program. They have 30 days for you to make a decision. The problem is, real problem, that we have lots of good products which need to be developed. The rules are, they give a 50%, and 50% must be invested. We don't see any investors in Israel.
Here.
Why? We needed investors. We really have a good products. For example, I can tell you very good medicine, very good methods, which address to people who's suffering from different diseases, etc. Very nice technology. But the problem is that it comes to the really time where you need to produce the product for the market. And it means something like 140 million rubles, as an example, for 3 years, to put the product on the market, or to make the medicine for 5 years, during the 5 years of clinical trials. But we don't have the possibility to apply for that, even to apply for that, because we don't have 50% from the industry part.
Okay, so we have the same program where, as I said, a chief scientist offers $1 million, but you have to match it. You have to bring your own money. And this is one. Second is that if you are a part of a chief scientist program, you cannot take the IP out of Israel. Big restriction. Big restriction. Problem is that I know that round A, B, C, the big money is not in Israel, it's overseas. But I cannot take the IP out, meaning American investors don't like to invest in a company where they don't see the IP in the United States. Okay. Still the chief scientist says, I don't care. So by now, the big law firms came up with an idea. It could be a reverse sleeve, if you are familiar with the term, opening a daughter company, different in a way tricks. It's not tricks, the chief scientist knows about it, looks the other way, and say you do whatever you want. So in the end, it is doable to take the IP out of Israel. Currently, I have another company that does hydroponics, but what they do is actually, the hydroponics is growing vegetables, for instance, on water, just water, no soil. Why? In China is a big deal. Their soil is polluted. Water also is not good quality, but people today want more and more organic. They want to grow by themselves. They don't believe advertising. They don't believe you don't have chemicals, this and that. They want to grow on rooftops. So what we offer them is a sensor that floats in water, takes from an app a recipe of what needs to be in the water, sensing the water, equals to the recipe, tells you what to add. Then we came up with a device, worked the same way almost like HP printer, okay, with the cartridges of ink that you add. So we add minerals, and it tells the device and puts in the water, period, that's it. Chinese investors are running all over us. We raised $250,000 from the United States like this, but I've decided to send the CEO over to the United States. I'm an investor in the company. Send the CEO to New York, open like everyone in Delaware. Rules are easy, like everyone does. So, but I knew that it could be a possibility I will take money from the chief scientist. So I opened a daughter company in Israel for R&D. So the IP is there, the R&D is here. It's like a trick. I went to the chief scientist, you know what he does? I don't know about this, just do whatever. And I'm taking money from him as well. It is not against bureaucracy, it's not against the law. It's just a matter of explaining the right way. So I learned, one of the things I learned, and it was not, I didn't learn it like 10 years ago, I learned it 3 years ago. That if I did not believe I can negotiate commission with my bank, it's doable. Insurance company, doable. Government, doable. I did not believe it at first, but I said, you know what? Maybe I'll try. So I sat with this someone, and I said to him, okay, I don't agree to this such and such. And he was like, no, he didn't look at me and I said, he was like, okay, so let's check what I can do. I said, oh my God, this is working. And I tried more and more and more. So it's not against the law, it's about the person deciding, I can do it. You remember what I said? We take no is not a possibility with us. So we try new ways. I think, as I see many people from Russia coming to Israel, I think they're more for doing the aliyah and coming back to Israel. I don't see startups coming to Israel to get investment from Israel. We are not the United States. I hear a lot of startups from here going to the US and get money, where money is plentiful, okay? I see this is happening. But I do think that if we can make the cooperation of having Israelis and Russian together in the same startup, investors will come along. For the simple reason, Israeli investors speak Hebrew. They believe their own people. If one of their people is in that startup, is fine with them. It's far away, but he's Israeli like me. I will give you the money. Simple. We just need to talk. It cannot work any other way.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I went the whole way from Tel Aviv to here. So
Yeah, because that's what we exactly do for with some other foreign partners. So we have to open the startup here and to apply for this program. Okay. And that's what. So my question was, why not so many Israelis from Europe?
we don't know you
Germany,
guys.
from other countries, it works.
You're far away. It's cold. Look, we drove like 90 hours to get here. Russia, I could not believe the traffic. I mean, everything is huge here, okay? But you spend hours on traffic. I mean, when do you get the time to work? If you're in traffic all the time.
We're sitting in traffic.
We drove from 7 to 9 to get into Moscow, and from, I don't know, Skolkovo Skolkovo, 2 hours to get here, and we still have to go back and meet to Riga.
For example, for your company, Sensority, I have a very nice proposal. You have a group of scientists who develop their own algorithm and program. They take a video from people who is moving, and they calculate certain parameters.
Perfect.
And predict whether or not they will have a Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
Before the MCI, mild cognitive impairment, appears.
My host is about
So-
to cut me now.
So that's
Let's do it.
That's a very good idea, a very good suggestion, so. But good, we will wait for February. By February, I think we will have much more people, I believe.
В следующий раз мы постараемся предупредить заранее.
Thank you very much.
Всем спасибо большое. Все. Кому что-то будет интересно, пишите. Сейчас уже спросить что-то время, да?
Да нет.
Но там нам нужно еще забеседовать. Ну, вы напишите, я вас соединю. Вы же знаете, я вас специально пригласил.